Evansville, Indiana.
Evansville, Indiana. Good deal, good deal. That's right up the road. Not too far, man. Kentucky?
Yep, Georgetown.
Georgetown. Okay, that's not too. Did y'all go to Georgetown College?
No, UK.
UK. Gotcha. Look here. Got the UK sweatshirt on right now. There you go. That says it all. How about you, son?
From Mongolia.
From Mongolia?
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Good. Guys, like I said, man, if y'all have any questions, don't know what's out there, man. You can see this place is pretty big. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is talk about a couple of these big displays around us. They really want us to highlight those. So I'll talk about that big barrel display down there. We'll actually start down there. Like it really looks like the moonshine is completely clear, and the proof of it is ridiculous. It's like 125 proof. But how it picks up its color over time is by going through the charred wood on the inside of that barrel. And at the proofers we actually char the inside of our barrels for about 55 seconds. That's what we call our standard char. And the end result looks pretty much just like what you see right here behind this new barrel cage. I mean, you see it's really dark. On some of the stage, you see bits and pieces. We kick the barrels, give them a good shove, and then they roll to whatever warehouse they're going to. And if you look at like that little green counter up there, you'll see that's another one. That lets us know typically how many barrels we filled on any given day. So maybe Friday they filled like 815 barrels, but they say typically we do anywhere between 12 to 1500 on any given day in terms of filling and stuff like that and processing. So, but guys, we're just gonna go turn literally right back around. Definitely stay on this.
Wow. Nice smell.
Oh man, it smells great. So guys, I'm sure many of y'all can smell that whiskey smell in here, guys. So pretty much, even though we haven't like dumped probably since like Friday, this is probably just like a back smell of like thousands of barrels that have been dumped in this one particular area, guys. So literally, this is where we bring like all of the barrels that are going to go into like big back stuff, like Buffalo Trace Benchmark. And this is where we do the dumping and stuff. So if you look back behind you guys, as y'all get on this side. If you look over here, you see this big like char right here, and if you look like closer to the left, you see like heavy sheets in we call it stainless steel mesh gratings. So what we do when this place is operating, guys, we pretty much put the barrels on top of this big trough. We use something called a pneumonic drill to take out the bung of the actual barrel. We turn that barrel upside down, and then we dump all the product into this big trough. In the trough, like I said, there's some stainless steel mesh gratings. And pretty much, guys, when you dump that product into the trough, and you hit those stainless steel mesh gratings, what we're looking to do is catch any foreign objects that may have broken off into the product over time. So to give you an example of that, this is some of the stuff that we tend to catch, guys, after we freshly dump those barrels. So you'll see bits and pieces of wood and like char and stuff like that. If you were to like smell these like pieces of wood, guys, you can smell it. Smell it. You can smell the alcohol in it, man. Like this has tons of whiskey in it. And what we tend to do, believe it or not, we let very little in here at Buffalo Trace go to waste. We'll take this stuff, guys, dry it down a little bit more, package it, and then we sell this in the gift shop. And what people will do is they'll buy this and then they'll put it in like their smokers and stuff. And it kind of adds a whiskey flavor or smell to like the meat that you're cooking and stuff like that. So guys, yeah, we let very little go to waste. So you can see like how we pretty much use different stuff here in this distillery. Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. Cool. So, man, guys, there's so much to talk about. Let's see how much time we got, though. Man, that's 16 minutes. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm going to give y'all a lot of information right now, man. So really quick, that green little like machine right here, we use that to lift the barrel to the higher parts of the bricks. So that's what that's all about. All of these barrels that you see around you right now, these are all a part of the barrel pick process that I was telling you about. So if you look at like some of them, like the ones over here in the middle, you'll see like there's a sticker there that says sold. So all of these barrels around right now have been sold to some liquors Nashville in there. So you remember the 4 trees we started off talking about that? And I keep calling them Nashville 1 and 2. You'll see like Nashville number 1 or Nashville number 2. So just based upon that, knowing the Nashville that you see on the head, you can guess what's in the barrel just based upon that. Because there could only be like 5 or 6 products associated with each Nashville. So that's pretty cool. Also, too, if you look at the bottom of the edge, you'll see something called field date or field date. That date is telling in terms of when they put the white dog inside the barrel. So let's say, for instance, you see a Buffalo Trace barrel that says Nashville number 3. It says field date January 1st, 2001. Well, one, that means that Nashville number 3 only has 2 lines. Right here, watch out for the yellow barrels because they're really easy to call. And you can probably tell from that really now that we're it is small. A barrel blatantly marked Pappy Van Winkle, which is kind of crazy. And I don't know exactly how long it's been here, but it will be here for 20 years. And I can almost guarantee, like, if you come back maybe next year or later on this year, it should still be here. Here at Buffalo Trace, guys, we don't like rotate our barrels at all. So wherever the barrel is, it's going to stay there until we're ready to bottle what's inside it. So this barrel's going to be in this exact same place probably for years to come, which is pretty cool. Can everybody in the back see it pretty good? Or?
Yeah, what was it labeled? I missed that, sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. It says PBW 20 years. So it's a 20-year-old barrel Pappy Van Winkle, which is crazy, man. I was actually telling those guys that were a little bit up front earlier, here at Buffalo Trace, we don't rotate the barrels, so it's pretty good. Oh my God. Guys, this is Blanton's Bowling Hall. And yeah, you can actually come a little closer. It's kind of hard to see stuff over this big counter right here. But guys, once again, this is pretty much where we bottle all that small batch of single barrel product. Almost anything that you can find in that display case over there, we pretty much bottle in here, outside of like the Buffalo Trace that's in there and stuff like that. But kind of how the whole process works, if you look over there in the left-hand corner, you'll see where we roll in the barrels. And pretty much what we do is we stop them over those big copper tanks that you see down there at the bottom. And what we do is we pretty much use that same pneumatic drill to pull out the bung. We place all the contents in those copper tanks, and we use those tanks to filter down the product and also proof it down as well. And then from there, it goes to the top of these stairs. Back behind those green banners, there's like some additional storage tanks. You kind of see one poking out there to the right. But the product will sit in those tanks until they're ready to bottle whatever's going to go in that assembly line at that given day or whatever the case may be. And when this place is actually like hopping and stuff and people are moving around, you'll see all these seats will be completely filled, and everybody kind of has their own job that they do. So at the top of the assembly line, somebody's in charge of making sure that the product goes safely inside the bottle. They use that black hose right there. Somebody's in charge of making sure that that actually goes to the wax that we use. So I wish I had a bottle to show you, but if you look, here's a good example. If you look at any bottles of wax that we make, you'll see like this wax around the seal of any bottle, and that pretty much is this wax that we use that we melt down with that black hose. It goes around the seal and stuff, and that kind of seals on that stopper and stuff like that. But as it makes its way down, once again, somebody's in charge of making sure the labels go around the neck and the belly of the bottle. If it goes inside the box, fun fact, if you're ever here, guys, on Blantons Day, and you want the blends that come to like a cool little knapsack, always go, like the little brown knapsack over there, always go for the blends that come in the box. If it comes in the box, you usually get the knapsack. But some of them go in there, some of them just get the little mesh braiding right here. And then at the end of the assembly line, you have your finished product. Now, Blantons, guys, not a lot of people know this, Blantons is the first single barrel bourbon ever made. So literally what that means is, we'll take like, let's say a whole barrel and fill up one whole pallet of glasses. But let's say that we get down to the last remnants of that barrel, and it only fills up the last glass halfway. Because it's a single barrel bourbon, we can't take a second barrel and fill up that half empty glass, if that makes any sense. So a lot of times, y'all, believe it or not, when y'all come in here and people are actually working like Monday through Friday, guests will sometimes see like 6 or 7 half-empty bottles of glass kind of sitting on the assembly line right here on the side. And whenever y'all see that, y'all always ask the tour guide typically, like, what are y'all going to do with those half-empty bottles of glass? And guys, for the life of me, I've been here 6 years, I could not tell you what they do with those half-empty bottles. But I will tell y'all this. These are the happiest employees we have here at Buffalo Trace, hands down, guys. That just goes without saying, man. Last little thing. So I talked about the bottle a little bit, but I did talk a lot about the stopper, guys. So Bland's is super unique. Like, one of the most unique things about the actual bottle itself is the stopper. So there's 8 different stoppers, guys. And if you look closely, you'll see the jockey and the horse is in a different position depending on what stopper you have. So that's one way you can kind of tell which one you have. But also, if you look at the back of the heel of the horse, you'll see there's a really small letter. If you collect all 8 and put them in the correct order, not only is it a representation of a Kentucky horse race, but it actually spells Bland's as well. If you collect all 8 and send them in to the distillery, just mail them in, we'll mail it back to you on a stave like this for free, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of like a treasure hunt that you use this particular product, which is really neat. I wish I had more time to tell y'all guys. So a couple more things. We'll talk briefly about this. If you really like our products a lot, we have a whiskey vault back there, that little squirt cubby hole. Pretty much has one of every product we've ever made in, which is really cool. But this little thing, super duper quick. So this little counter lets us know how close we're getting to the 9th millionth barrel, or the 8th millionth one that we talked about. But if you look close, guys, at the barrel heads, they kind of paint a picture of the ebbs and flows of bourbon over the past couple decades. So short and sweet. Remember, Prohibition ended in 1933. We hit our first million in 1942. So if you look at that one all the way at the top, it says July 1942. That's when we hit the first million. From there, guys, 1942 to 1953, it took us about 10 years, I guess, whatever, to hit 2 million. So it took us about 10 years to hit 2 million. From 1953 to 1961, it took us about 8 years to get to 3 million. From 1961 to 1971, it took us about 10 years to get to 4 million. From 1971 to 1981, it took us another 10 years to get to 5. Guys, check this out. From 1981 to 2008, the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, nobody's buying bourbon. It took us 3 decades to get to the next million, guys. Bourbon tanked. For some strange reason, something happened in 2008. It only took us 10 years to get to the next million, which we hit in 2018. Check out 2018 to 2022. It only took us 4 years to get to the next million, guys. And they said we'll probably hit 9 million within about 3.5 years. So bourbon is exploding right now, guys. It's really amazing. Guys, does everybody have a flight to themselves? Everybody you got one right here. Yeah. All right. So guys, it's a heck of an old fashioned. A great daily drink. It's the best practice I've ever done. Now, when you're ready, guys, go ahead and try that next bourbon. Your next bourbon is going to be Weller Special Reserve. Now, this is the only weeded bourbon that you're trying to make all. This particular bourbon usually aged about 5 to 7 years. A little bit sweeter, a little bit smoother. That's coming from the fact that it doesn't have the rye in it. So this is a weeded bourbon once again. If you're a fan of weeded bourbons, I think you'll like this a lot. And there's like 6 or 7 varieties of it. So there's a lot that's there's an Antique 107. There's a 4. There's a 12 here. So a lot that's well with this particular product. But excellent weeded bourbon if you're a fan of weeded bourbons. Excellent.
Орта утсан. Орта утсан.
45 to 7